I'm Dylan Bowden.
I'm Ryan Betson.
Tear your tickets, take your seats. It's time for popcorn.
You can reserve your seats every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on the YouTubes and podcast services. If you want some premium seat action, you can head to the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/the PopCulturists. Also have a Discord channel as well. But if you want those behind the scenes exclusive VIP seats, head over to patreon.com. A couple of tiers there, and maybe one that interests you.
I did a tier.
What was the tier for?
Because you said there's different tiers.
Ah, nice.
How you been?
I'm good, man.
Good. What, seen anything good lately? What you been watching?
Yeah, here and there. Like I've acquired John Wick 2.
Have you really?
And Guardians of the Galaxy for the wife.
Oh, on Blu-ray?
On the Blu-rays.
4K?
Yes.
3D?
No 3Ds.
Oh.
See, that's the thing. We've now crossed that threshold where I'm like, whenever a movie comes out, I'm like, ooh, is it on 4K Blu-ray? I've cried. Like, I broke that line when I bought Logan.
Do they come with double?
Yeah, it comes with Blu-ray. It comes with the 4K and the Blu-ray.
Oh, well, you're right then.
Yeah,
how much more expensive is it though?
That's like $5.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
$5-10 depending on who it is. But yeah, so I'm like, and now I'm going back looking at. I'm like, okay, what one do I want to get on 4K Blu-ray now? Like, what would take advantage of it? Like, I was super tempted to pick up Batman vs Superman. Like, and I was like, that's dumb. And I put it back.
Good job. Glad you overcame that quickly.
But then I thought, I'm like, ooh, Power Rangers would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, Power Rangers would be cool.
It'd be great in the 4Ks. Yeah, so, you know, because my wife hasn't seen Guardians of the Galaxy. My son was super little.
Volume 2.
Volume 2. He was super little when it came out in the cinemas. So I was like, hey, I'm going to the movies. I kind of left. Yeah, and she never saw it. So yeah, so that's for her. Yeah, and then the John Wick 2, another movie she didn't get to see because babies. Popcorn cup, popcorn shirt, good merchandise available. Let us know, we'll make it happen for you. Yeah, still solid movies. Still really solid movies.
Good.
How are you?
I watched Batman and Harley Quinn.
Oh, that's the new animated one, yeah.
The new Warner Brothers animation one. Yeah.
How'd that do it for you?
It was pretty good.
I have saw on the internet that they've continued the new animated trend of making characters bang.
Yeah, so there's a scene, spoilers, where Nightwing, he gets knocked out by Harley Quinn. He wakes up in her bedroom of this like rundown apartment, and he's tied to the bed, legs and arms.
Okay. Yep.
And she says she's going to take a shower now, so she takes off her clothes and she's wearing her underwear, and she's looking through her assortment of clothes, and they're all like,
just like,
well, not actually, they're all like older costumes that she's had.
Okay,
in the
clever.
series.
Hold on.
She bends over, and there's like a gratuitous butt shot, and he's kind of like, She turns around, looks directly down, and sees that he has a boner, but you don't see it, but she looks directly down.
Implied erection.
Implied a lot. And then she's like, oh, hello, what's going on here? And then seductively climbs up on the bed and talks some trash with him. Fade to black. And then Batman turns up. He goes to bust
And then
in.
he's like, oh. And then she looks at him and she's like, hey. And now he's like, hey. And they go at it again.
Well, not going at it again, but pretty much he goes to kick the door, and then he can hear them talking and giggling in there, and he opens the door, and they're rolling around on the bed giggling. She's wearing a Harley Quinn outfit, he's still wearing his Nightwing outfit, and Batman looks at the ripped restraints on the bed, and then he looks at the ground, and Harley Quinn's underwear's there, and then he looks at Nightwing, and Nightwing hangs his head in shame, and Batman's like, did you get what you needed? And he's like, yeah, I did. I got the information of where Poison Ivy is. So they got it on.
How does it fit into the story? Or is it just kind of there?
Just kind of happens. Yeah.
Because I know with the Killing Joke with Barbara Gordon and Bruce getting it down, it felt so out of place, so not really benefiting that story in the slightest.
But it happened.
It did. Did this benefit the story in any way? It's just simply a scene.
Just made it funny that because she's away from the Joker and she's kind of living on her own, going straight. And she complains about how she's trying to get real jobs, and they're just like, there's a lot of like hooking kind of jobs you could get, and she's like, either I'm a criminal or I'm a whore. There's nothing in between,
Okay, that's interesting.
So she's angry. But there was a scene where they're driving in the Batmobile. Harley Quinn's in the back, Nightwing's passenger side, Batman's driving, and Harley Quinn's just being annoying. She's like talking, and Batman's like, and then she keeps talking. He's like, And then she keeps talking and like slams the brakes and he's like, shut up, this isn't a joke. Keep it down. I'm trying to concentrate. And then they start driving again. And then she's like, I really got to go to the bathroom. And he ignores her. She's like, I really have to go. I'm warning you. And then she's just like, and Nightwing's like, oh, gross. And Batman's just sitting there normally. And then she does it again, louder. And Nightwing's like, can't you smell that? And Batman sounds like, it sounds like discipline. And then eventually they have to pull over and go to the gas station. But yeah, there's fart jokes, sex jokes. Yeah. It's interesting.
Gotta want me over on the fart jokes, really.
Fart jokes were good. I like that. I like Batman and a good fart joke. But yeah, Batman and Harley Quinn. It's got some Swamp Thing in there as well.
Hey, was it Swamp Thing or was it like some
it was
the
fluorescent man.
Yeah,
because at the start there's a robbery, and they're watching the video back, and he's like, "Hey, that's the guy who did it, the Swamp Thing." And Batman's like, "No, it's not. That's Jason Woodrow. He's the fluorescent man. This is blah blah blah. blah. Alec Holland, the Swamp Thing." But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good. Hour and 10 minutes.
So it's about the same length as Killing Joke,
pretty much, except
this is a brand new story. Like this isn't an adaptation like previous, right?
No.
But it's in the same vein as the animated series.
It's in the style of the animated series. Kind of a combination between the New Adventures and the original animated series, branching together, like two different styles. But yeah, it's a fun watch.
Let us know what you thought about Harley Quinn and Nightwing banging. Comments below.
Speaking of superheroes, though, Defenders, Netflix.
Man, I thought I'd be way more excited for this.
It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So 8 episodes I can get through. I can binge 8 episodes in a weekend.
Yeah.
13, 12, whatever it is, usually is a slog.
Tough set.
It was good. Sigourney Weaver played Alexandra, the leader of the Hand.
It was a nice surprise. Craig, the PopCulturist intern, he told me today, he's like, yes, Sigourney Weaver's in. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she's the bad guy. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And they kind of retroed it where like certain characters from other series were the 5 fingers of the hand. So there's 5 people that lead the hand, and Sigourney Weaver's one of them. Man Gao's another one. The guy Daredevil killed in season 1 is back.
The old guy?
No, the Japanese guy who only spoke Japanese, and he had like the chain and the thing on it. But yeah, the whole idea is that they're drilling, because in Daredevil season 2 they were like digging a hole in the ground, the hand were, and they didn't know what it was for. And
I never really kind of questioned that.
Didn't see the end of the series, so I don't know where it ended up. But they dug a hole in the ground, and essentially they're looking for something, and they found this wall, and it's this ancient Kunlun wall that can only be opened by the Iron Fist. So they're trying to capture the Iron Fist, which is Danny Rand, to break into this place to get some kind of...
that they find a reason for Iron Fist to be there. Because that series was garbage.
It is. It's very Iron Fist heavy. He's like... It centers around him. So it's kind of like Iron Fist season 1.5.
Trying to fix what the Iron Fist was?
Kind of make him cooler and like...
Yeah, okay. And more important.
Yeah, exactly. But it's cool. It starts out like... It's very blatantly obvious that every scene that Iron Fist's in is like green filter.
Oh, okay.
Luke Cage's yellow filter, Jessica Jones is like purple-blue filter, and Daredevil's red. Like, it's completely obvious. Every scene change is like a different
as in
color.
when they cut between two people, is the filters there?
No, like they're separate because they got their separate stories, and then as they meet up, the more the colors seem to dissipate, and it just becomes natural. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Seeing Iron Fist fighting Luke Cage, Elektra's back. It's pretty cool.
This is something that's interesting. I thought I would be excited to hear the Defenders is out.
Yeah.
I am so oddly burnt out. Superheroes. Like, I've not watched the last season of Flash, which I loved the Flash.
Yeah.
Haven't watched any Arrow. Haven't watched... Which is weird, because when Arrow started, I loved Arrow.
Yeah, but it's like season 5 now.
No, but the point is, like, it's weird that, like, I've transitioned to a point I'm like, like Daredevil season 1. Fucking loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Jessica Jones didn't finish. Daredevil season 2 finished. Luke Cage haven't started. Iron Fist haven't started.
Whoa, missing out. But at least you get a taste of them all in their different, like Luke Cage's and Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, whatever. But yeah, it like. I thought it was pretty cool to see them all team up together, see them interact, kind of see their worlds break down. Like Matt Murdock is he puts like a scarf on his head to cover his face when he's doing hero stuff because he's retired being Daredevil at the point when the series starts. But then he's kind of like screw it. Like, I'm Matt Murdock, and like we don't care. Like, whatever. But
Right.
he's got like because if he gets caught out, anything that he's done in a court of law is rejected.
Void, yeah.
So he can't really get the two worlds to collide. Everybody's back. Foggy's back. Karen's back from Daredevil's universe. Colleen Wing and Rosario Dawson, the night nurse, she's back. So everybody kind of gets a moment to shine. Trinity was in there from Jessica Jones for a couple of
like
scenes.
the boss.
Yeah, the boss. But it was good. I'd like to see more, but it's going to go back to the solo
Tenet
series.
return?
No, but he's back for season 2 of Jessica
Yeah,
Jones.
I remember reading an article that he was back in some form. I can't remember what it was for.
Yeah, not in this one though. Stick was back. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm burnt out. I have no interest in watching it. Maybe I'll check it out at some point.
You could watch it and get the idea. 8 episodes isn't too bad.
Yeah, it's a lot. Though. For me, it is.
Okay. All right, so that's what we've been watching. How about we get into some news?
Yeah, because we haven't talked enough about superheroes yet.
Yeah, so what superheroes are we going to start? I'm going to start with this one because I only heard it today, and it's getting me excited because I get to crap all over it. So, once I find the details, essentially, now this came out a little bit a while ago, but I didn't even realize it. So apparently there was during a Warner Brothers Comic-Con session, there was a sizzle reel that revealed the logos of upcoming slate of movies.
Oh, really?
DC, yeah. So they showed Shazam. So these are official from DC. Shazam, Suicide Squad 2,
Yep.
The Batman,
Yep.
Justice League Dark,
Okay.
Batgirl,
Oh.
Green Lantern Corps, and then the Flashpoint, and Wonder
Green
Woman
Lantern
2. Sorry, did I say Corpse? Yeah,
Sure did.
Corps. So those are the official ones. Now, it's always been weird that they're not going to go like the big ones and they're going to have these weird kind of like Suicide Squad or Shazam or Batgirl or Gotham Sirens, I think is another
Yeah,
one
it's
as
on the
well.
working on as well. Yeah.
But recently, they just announced that there is going to be a standalone Joker solo movie, which is going to be an origin story.
That's fucking dumb.
And it's going to be written by Todd Phillips, who did The Hangovers. And it's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese. So
Whoa.
that's what they're saying. I don't know how much of this is real.
That is a very big discrepancy in your writer to your director.
Yeah. And to do that kind of material, it's weird. So the other thing that came out was that Matt Reeves, because there's been a lot of like this dispute about how the Batman movie, whether Fleck's going to be in it, whether he's not, whether he's writing it, whether he's not. So they also came out and said that they're going to be doing these standalone movies. So these are not necessarily Elseworlds movies, but they're not part of the DCEU, and they're their own tales. And then Matt Reeves said,
I like the idea of the one shot though, because one of the biggest problems that they're. We'll come to it. I'll come to it.
Yeah. Oh no, go for it. Say.
Because one of the problem that they're having now is they're trying to bring everything together.
Yeah.
So as a result, everything has that sense of they're trying to build to a bigger thing. Like in Batman vs Superman, when they're like, when Bruce falls asleep at the desk, they're like, oh yeah, you're not ready for this yet. Like that has no place in that movie because that's purely world building, right?
Yeah.
So by having one shots, I guess that's probably, in its comic term, I guess that's probably the best way to get some cool stories.
But they said it's opportunities to see different actors in famous roles.
Which means
so it's not going to be Jared Leto.
That's the way of saying we're not happy with the actors we have. All the actors we have don't want to do it.
We can't get rid of them because they're contracted, so we have to do something else.
Like we can, we can't. But Jared Leto probably refuses to not be the Joker, so we just don't cast him.
Yeah,
he's still locked into a contract for another 3 movies. When we do those movies, doesn't matter.
We'll pay it out. But Matt Reeves said, well, I have a vision for a way to do something with that character that feels like it resonates with me personally as Batman. And a perspective that can grow out into other things. When they, Warner Brothers, approached me, what they said was, look, it's a standalone. It's not part of the extended universe.
See, this makes it whether it be kind of... Because the thing we know about Batman now,
yes,
in the DCEU, is that he's old. He's grizzled. He's done.
Yes.
So maybe they could do...
He is done.
Yeah. Ben Affleck's out.
Yeah.
Which, catch up to last week where we talked about... Casey Affleck, turns out he was full of shit.
Yeah, he's just talking trash.
Just being a dirtbag.
That's funny.
But it's maybe they can sort of do like a year one.
Yeah, they could.
I think, did you and Josh talk about this as well?
Maybe.
The idea of 0 year?
Yeah, well, he talked about, the way that the Flashpoint could allow that to have these different spin-offs or change the cast.
Looks like they're just going to do it anyway.
But what does that mean? They've got no faith in the DCEU. They're just like, this is ruined.
Yeah.
And we can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And we've announced these things, so why don't we just make them from scratch?
There's no other way of interpreting it rather than we bit off more than we could chew.
Well, we
thought we could do the Marvel method without following the Marvel method, and it failed.
Well, they do the like the animated series, like some animated movies. Some of them are follow along. Like the Son of Batman ones, there's a couple of those in the series. The original ones. Then they do the standalone ones like the Superman Doomsday, where they're retelling famous comic book stories. Batman Year One was another one. The Dark Knight Returns was one. So maybe they should just follow that. Yeah, part 1 and part 2. Maybe they should just follow that and just do like standalone movies.
I like the idea of the standalone movies because that tells a blocked in story. There's no way of them having to worry about turn it that way so they can actually see the front of it. If you want to be shameless, there you go. So that way they can create like, hey, we're just gonna. There's a higher chance that you would get solid talent for one movie.
Yeah, and you get a good director, you get a good writer, and you can get a great cast. And change it up. You could always have different kinds of Batmans, different kinds of Supermans.
It's a cool idea on paper, but it also says a lot about where they're at right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my DC. DC is my jam. You're the Marvel man. You wear a Marvel shirt for fuck's sake.
I know.
But
well, are they just kind of like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks? Like, all people like that one will make a sequel to that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's like rather than have the faith in the material that. Kevin Feige did, and like putting that trust into Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. Like, if this goes well, this is what it'll be. Rather than going, we'll make a huge thing. It's start this. If that goes well, then this, and then steps, incremental. Yeah. And then Iron Man was released, really well loved. Incredible Hulk, not so much. Thor, it was okay. But like, there's clearly building. Like they're like, okay, the reception's okay. It's not doing horrible. We'll build to it. Where they're like, Man of Steel, we're making everything, and that I think that was a horrible decision because like that is like, because
we're not doing origin stories.
Like
what?
That part I like.
I don't want to see it, but I don't want to see a Joker origin story. I don't care about that. That's like just the under the red hood kind of thing.
Yeah. It would under the red hood
like
or
Killing
like
Joke.
Killing Joke. Well, not Killing Joke-esque. Like the under the red
hood.
Just
take that Killing Joke story out and just
because the under the red hood rely that. The biggest problem that we're going to be facing is standalone stories, but they'll be introducing characters and they have to explain characters. Like what I would love to see personally would be, I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it again, Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum.
But don't introduce them, just have them. And like, there's Two-Face and, Two-Face.
No, we're talking studio intervention here. These movies, this cinematic universe just reeks of studio intervention. So they're like, we're gonna do we're gonna do Arkham Asylum. Oh, yeah, but does the public know who Clayface is? Does the public know? Like, no, like, just fuck it, let me do it. They're like, yeah, you need to make a scene that blatantly shows who Clayface is. You need them to look at the camera and go, hey, I'm Clayface. Yeah. Because that's studios.
But like Batman, the Lego movie didn't have it. They're just like, there's the villains. You know them or you don't. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's like the kids' audience. The Lego Batman games fixes there's previous material. Same as comics. There's previous material, but
you can look at this one like here's someone. They're a thing. Deal with it.
Yeah, I think if they, there's no confidence in what they're doing, and as a result, that's reflecting back, and it's making bad movies, and it's killing actually good source material, and it makes me fucking sad.
I think it's hilarious that they're just like, whatever. It's just,
but like, it is exactly as you said. They're like, hey, we had this original intention, like, but they're not going to come out and say, oh, we're bailing on the idea that we had for the cinematic universe, because like, a big company like that will not admit failure.
Sony did. They're like, we fucked up Spider-Man.
Yeah, but for them, they did that as a gesture of goodwill for Marvel.
Yeah, well, Marvel could make DC movies.
No, but the point that's like the point is, it's like we are a small little group of people, right? So if we fuck up, we can be like, hey, we fucked up. We have that accountability. But like, they're a giant corporation with like shareholders and shit. They can't just be like, we fucked up.
And it's probably the shareholders or the people who are like executive producers putting their finger in and be like, yeah, well, we need more of this and we need more of that. Speaking of which, and a side note, there was discussion about the Joss Whedon additional scenes and the cuts that they made to the movies.
Oh, yeah?
Do you want to hear some of those?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So Henry Allen was in Justice League. They cut him out completely. Lex Luthor was in Justice League.
I saw that article today, actually, and Jesse Eisenberg's
out.
gone.
Darkseid was in it. Cut him completely out.
What?
Yep. And what else did they cut out? They changed the ending. It talks about, how people meet their certain fates or what the culmination of the end scenes are, but I won't talk about those. But they changed the way events pan out at the end. But those are, I think, the main cuts.
This is sounding more like they were scenes in this that did once again world building.
Yeah.
And Joss Whedon's like, these don't work.
Yeah, there's no reason for this.
And like
get out of that pool for get out of it.
Rather than being a proactive decision as like, okay, let's remove these to sort of benefit the story. It's once again, this is being very cynical, of course. It's reactive. They're like, Joss Whedon's like, they're like, Joss, how you doing? Yeah, cool, man. So I'm looking at that script that with what Zach's got. Mind you, Zach, great dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working. What do you mean it's not working? We saw incredible success with Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. Oscar award-winning Suicide Squad. You're like, yeah. Like, granted, they did good financial money, but the storyline's kind of shot. When here we've got these characters that don't really fit. Like, granted, Darkseid, having him in it is really cool, and you've been setting up for that for a while. And
one movie
for one movie, I don't feel that you should just go from one to the other. It's like, yeah, but like, we need that. Like, Thanos is about to come out with Infinity War. Like, we need our Thanos. It's like, Thanos means something because we built up to him. Like with my work on the Avengers. Did incredibly well.
Like 7 movies ago.
Yeah, like what I did built upon 6 movies. And that's why the characters mean something. Like, yeah, but they did so well financially. That's the conversation. Like, that's how I feel it went down. He's like, look, these decisions you're going to have to make. But at the same, or it could be the other way. And it's like, yeah, dude, we've got Josh. Josh is fucking smart. That's what's Josh have to say? We've cut all these things. Yes, Josh, you can cut all the fucking things.
I don't know.
I'm concerned. I feel it's going to be as disjointed as the theatrical cut of Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, probably.
Fucking and once again, same as Suicide Squad, incredibly broken tone.
I want it
like
to
the
be
start of that movie and the end of that movie are 2 different movies.
I want to have awesome, like, awkward scenes where they it's clearly a reshoot, bigger stubble, longer hair, different lighting.
I want the Fantastic Four, like, that woman's clearly wearing a wig.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's right. Fake blonde wigs for everyone. Like, Batman's got a blonde wig. Yeah. Flash has got a blonde wig. Everyone's got blonde wigs.
One woman blonde wig. No one says anything about it.
Reshoot day, and like she'll do all the reshoots in like IMAX. You know how the ratio changes sometimes when it's IMAX, so you can clearly see reshoot, normal, reshoot, normal. Anyway. So that's Warner Brothers. Speaking of not having any new ideas,
yes,
there has been talk that there's going to be a Knight Rider reboot as a movie franchise, or a movie at least.
Yeah, because Baywatch did so well.
Exactly. So Knight Rider, of course, was David Hasselhoff as Michael Knight.
Yeah. Speaking of Baywatch.
And he was like some kind of secret agent spy dude who had a car named Kit, and it talked. And it was like, Michael, I'm British. And they'd go off and solve crimes and do stuff and just be sexy with big hair and leather jackets. So there's been talk that there's no director on board, there's no script in place. For some reason, that's a rumor, but that John Cena is going to play Michael Knight and Kevin Hart is going to do the voice of the car. Because they said Kevin Hart's in. I'm like, what's Kevin Hart doing? I didn't think that he was going to voice the car. But at the same time,
who's the studio behind it?
I don't know. It doesn't even say. Let's have a look. The Weinstein Company.
Oh, what?
There you go.
See, the Weinstein Company make cool movies.
Yeah, but they're
what the fuck?
The art house audience. So, but the other thing at the same time,
yeah, you can probably close the tab that's about a Stenson, which is the you tried to rhyme Betson with a hat.
And I got it because of that. There's my cool night. So anyway, at the same time, Hasselhoff's gotten his opinion in there, and apparently this is what he said. He said that he's met with Robert Rodriguez. He does Dust Till Dawn.
Oh, wait, Robert Rodriguez is doing it.
Well, no, this is what Hasselhoff says. He's met with him. He's met with Rodriguez, just talking the
Bullshit.
trash, shooting the shit. And he said, I've met Robert Rodriguez. He does Dusk Till Dawn and Machete. And I said, you need to do Knight Rider, because he was doing a marathon of Knight Riders. And he said, can we have a selfie? And I said, no, I don't want a selfie. I want to do the movie. I want to shoot the TV series. I want to bring it back and make it dark. Michael Knight comes back and he's pissed. I hope it happens, and if it does, it'll kind of be like Logan. It'll be dark. So Hasselhoff wants like grizzled old Michael Knight.
What this is? This is someone having no understanding of of why Logan worked.
Hasselhoff knows a lot of things. He was in Baywatch, and that worked.
So that's what I mean. It's like, this is what's interesting.
Yes.
This is the exact. I'm going to be very cynical in this episode by the sounds.
Sure.
It is one of those moments of, hey, it is like someone's got a fucking thought map. And like, why does Logan work? Old and grizzled, dark, sepia tone. You know, it's like
noir, black and white.
Noir. So like, okay, so how can we bring these four things into Knight Rider and it'll just work, right? Because it's not the story. It's not the 17 years we've spent with Wolverine. It's these four things. Like, well, let's bring these four things to Knight Rider. It's gonna fucking work, right?
Well, they saw Logan driving around in a car, like a limousine.
Yep.
If it just talked, that is Knight Rider.
Holy fuck, that would have been a great movie.
That is Logan Knight Rider. Just do it like a Knight Rider version of Logan.
See, Hoff, dude, how'd your fucking time? Go away.
He wants work.
Go be, go get drunk and eat hamburgers somewhere else. Remember that video?
On the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, cheeseburger. I think his daughter filmed it. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was to show him like, you're really fucked up, Dad. And he's like, I'm fine.
I'm drunk and I'm eating cheeseburgers off the bathroom floor. I want to see a movie based on that. That would be good.
The Life of Hoff.
All right. Next in the news, changing the tone a little bit to a darker, more serious tone that Hasselhoff's going for. Director of King Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus King Kong, whichever country you'll be in is probably what they'll name it.
Oh, wait, is this the upcoming movie?
Yeah,
okay.
the Godzilla versus Kong, maybe. Adam Wingard, the director, said that it's hard to find a tone shift between a giant monkey fighting a dinosaur without making it jokey, and at the same time without taking it too serious. Godzilla, I think,
went the too serious.
I think King Kong found the right tone. King Kong was good fun. Yeah. I still like King Kong.
My point still stands that, that they picked like 10 shots and they fluffed the story around it.
Good shots.
But like, see, this is the thing. They had some really cool like Uncharted-y elements in that movie, and it hurt me because like I want to see an Uncharted movie so bad.
But they do. They look a lot like.
It looks like Nathan Drake, and he looks like
and Helena.
Elena.
So even
what game are you playing?
Even though this is what Adam Wingard, the director, said. Even though these are big, wild monster movies, the origin of that is really from World War II and Hiroshima. So if you watch that first film, it's a really sad movie because it was kind of like the atomic bomb is what caused him to be there. It was their way of dealing with it. It's a really depressing exploration of that. So you always have to remember at the end of the day, the reason you're here is because a major catastrophe took place. There's this underlying darkness under it all, but at the end of the day, it is for kids as well. It's evolved into this whole other thing that means so many things to different people. So, is it going to be like a dark, depressing drama, or is it going to be a movie
that balance, that's a really good point.
They whoop ass. I really liked in Kong Skull Island how they built up King Kong just by talking about him, saying that, he's the protector, he's this god, he's looking after the people.
This tribe that don't
and even
talk,
though he's like, exactly, and even though he's like this monkey that doesn't talk and doesn't really emote, like, you get the idea that they built him up to be this hero.
You find his parents that are dead.
Yeah, and then he comes in and saves the day every 5 minutes. Like, it's cool.
Fights that giant squid and eats it.
And the other thing they said, that it was going to be a definitive win. Like, it's not none of this Freddy versus Jason where Jason's won, but then Freddy winks at the camera, or Jason...
That's he gets decapitated and then he's like...
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what happened? He said there's going to be a definitive winner. But then they'd have to be against each other, though.
Yeah, you know what a definitive winner is? The one that can punch. It's just like Godzilla... just Godzilla in a chokehold with Kong just like, fucking, boom. Because Godzilla's like... Like, you can only shoot fire when your face is not being plummeted in.
It sounds like you're a Kong fan.
Only because, like, one has opposable thumbs. That's the giveaway. Like,
but the other one's got, like, a big... badonkadonk butt and legs. Have you seen his like big
Yeah, he's got his
badonkadonk
big
legs?
toes like, "Meh," and then it's like,
Who knows? I look forward to finding out. Back to superheroes. Now, have you seen the movie Unbreakable?
sure haven't. That's Bruce Willis, yeah?
Oh, God. Yes! Yes, it is. All right, so essentially, Unbreakable came out in 2000. It was directed by M Night Shamalama. While he
M
was,
Night Shamalama-ding-dong.
That's right. While he was still on his high from The Sixth Sense. It was about Bruce Willis, who's a security guard, and he is in a train accident, and he's not injured. Everybody else in this train accident died.
Yeah, I have seen this.
And they're like, oh, that's weird. And then Samuel L. Jackson is this guy who's in a wheelchair, and he's got this debilitating disease where his bones debilitating.
Yeah, you're right. You said it weird.
Debilitating, where he's got really thin bones, so
Yeah.
he breaks easily. He breaks his bones all the time. And he's like a comic book art collector,
Okay.
and so he believes that Bruce Willis might be a modern day superhero. He says all these things, all these myths and legends about things come from somewhere. All these comic book characters are based on fact of the past, and that Bruce Willis seems to ignore it at first, and then he tries lifting things and he's getting strong, and he realizes he's never been sick ever. And
I think I might be getting this confused with the TV show with the guy that played The Thing.
The Shield.
Yeah, in Michael Chiklis, didn't he make a? Didn't
Oh,
he,
they had a superhero.
Yeah, like him
TV
and his
show?
family are all fucking. He was super strong and
The
looked like a
Super
giant
Family
ball
or
bag
what?
still.
Yeah, no, not that one. Anyway, so that came out, and it came out at a time before comic book movies were big, and kind of was like a sleeper hit. People were expecting like this amazing thriller, and
What's the cover of the DVD look like?
it's like broken glass and Bruce Willis's head there and Samuel L. Jackson's head there.
Nope,
blue.
that's not the one. Because for me, when you think of that one, I'm thinking of the cover. This is what I thought it was, but I kind of think it's this movie now.
Yeah.
There's a movie about like a home invasion with Bruce Willis.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember like he's the policeman, and there's like a home invasion, and he has to go and like fucking take in that shit. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna find out.
Okay. I don't know. But anyway, so that came out, and it was before its time, and people weren't expecting comic book movie. And years later now, they were always talking about doing a sequel. And essentially it turns out that, spoilers, Samuel L. Jackson set up all these terrorist events, a hotel fire.
Like him literally?
Yeah, plane crashes, other things, to draw out somebody who might be a superhero, to find someone who was exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
And he manages to find Bruce Willis, so he is Mr. Glass. That's his villain name. And he's like, I'm
Lame
Mr.
name.
Glass. And they put him in prison.
Hostage, the movie was called.
Oh, there you go.
2005 film.
But then, last year...
That's the cover I'm thinking of.
I think it might have been this. Oh, yeah, that's the one. This year, M. Night Shamalama made a short...
I like how you keep changing his name.
Shamalama made a
It's
low-budget...
like a Shamalama-ding-dong. You can never get it wrong.
He made a low-budget film called Split with James McAvoy.
I've seen that one. I know that one.
Yeah, that's one. See, I described it pretty well.
You just got it spot on.
But yeah, he made this movie called Split, and it was a horror psychological thriller about this guy with multiple personalities.
I heard this was fantastic. And
It
then
is pretty good.
some people got really mad about how he represents different personalities.
Yeah, that was true as well. So he kidnaps these three girls, and he's got split personality disorder. And they kind of, don't know who's going to walk into the room, and they have to negotiate with them to find a way to escape. And it's pretty awesome now. Think about it, reminiscing on it. But the cool thing is, spoilers.
So I remember getting Split and Nerve mixed up because they came out at the same time.
Yeah, I do remember Nerve. So at
You
the
were like Nerve's garbage, and then like but Split was really good, and I'm like Nerve's really good, Split's garbage, and you're like no.
They both have James McAvoy in it, actually. But at the end of the movie, there's a scene where they're talking about this split personality serial killer guy on the news, and the end of the movie's happened and he's gone off and whatever happens, and there's this one scene and they're talking about it in the news on the diner, and the camera's panning around this diner, it's going up to the TV, and it says this split guy blah 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 blah.
In other news,
Beast.
man didn't die on a train.
Well, no, it says and people are talking in the bar like, man, this is kind of like that other thing that happened years ago. You know that guy? What was his name again? And then the camera pans up to a person sitting next to him, and it's Bruce Willis.
No.
And he says his name was Mr. Glass. And then he puts his coffee down and walks away, and he's got his name tag on with his character's name from Unbreakable. And it's actually, you realize it's a sequel to Unbreakable.
Clever.
And now they're finally going to do the third movie, which is called Glass, and it brings all the characters together because the James McAvoy character, the Beast, was a character that was going to be in the original script of Unbreakable, but there was not enough room for him, so they took him out. And then Chalamet was like, it's such a good idea, I want to do a movie about it, and he did, and then did a little thing at the end. That's
kind of cool.
And there's never been an instance where you're watching a movie and not realizing that it's a sequel to another movie until the last moments.
Because it's cool, because like that can change, that could, like that balls to Shamalama-ding-dong, as always. You know, like Sixth Sense, big twist at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of like, because that depending on how you feel about Unbreakable could completely change that ending. Like, man, this movie's really good, and then you're like, oh, this fucking sucks.
Well, it's the opposite way. You're like, this movie's all right. And they're like, holy.
Yes, I'm saying it depends on how you feel about Unbreakable, right?
That's true. But it's like watching it, he's like playing the audience. You know, you think it's this, and then you're like, oh, it's this, and you're like, whoa. So that. But anyway, the sequel.
If anything, you made me want to go back and watch Unbreakable and Split.
I did do that. I watched Split and then I watched Unbreakable again. But they're slow movies, but they're good.
I could slow movie.
But the official plot synopsis is out for Glass, which says, following the conclusion of Split, Glass finds David Dunn pursuing Kevin Wendell Crumb's superhuman figure of the Beast in a series of escalating encounters, while the shadowy presence of Elijah Price emerges as the orchestrator who holds secrets critical to both men. So it's going to bring back Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis from Unbreakable, James McAvoy, and Anna Taylor-Joy, who was the main girl that got kidnapped in the movie, who has her own secrets and possible powers.
Cute.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting the questions ready for when we get there.
Sure. But speaking of movies that have ridiculous standalone movies that have got nothing to do with the entire main series, transition, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story, is officially announced.
That's so cool. It's actually really cool.
How do we feel about Obi-Wan Kenobi as standalone Star Wars movie? Let's do some speculating. Let's talk about what you expect to find in an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie.
Ewan McGregor, I guess.
Do you think?
Depends where they want to put it in terms of the timeline, right?
True. Well, yeah. I mean, he's from like, how old was he in a Phantom Menace, do you reckon? He's supposed to be?
Like 20s.
Yeah. So you got like either 0 to 20 or...
I would kind of like to see what he did between... Like, he's like, I'm going hiding in Tatooine. And he's like, okay. And then like, it's just him hiding in a cave for like an hour and a half.
Masturbating for 20
jerking
years.
It, going to town, and then like getting really sad, dust, you know, when sand gets in there. For me, like, it comes down to like, there's a lot of things you can do there. Obi-Wan is a really cool character, and I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be set in that period between episode 3 and episode 4.
I think because once again, this is the way they're going right now is they're acknowledging the prequels. They're not saying they don't exist. They're just stepping away from them.
Yes.
They're like, it happened. It happened.
Maybe.
But we're not going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much the stance they're taking. So like, hey, it's in between 3 and 4. 3 happened.
Yeah.
4, you love 4. Movie. That's where I see it going.
All right. So let's say it's set in that period. People are talking about this rivalry that he has with Darth Maul. Do you think Darth Maul will appear in it?
Wait. That depends. Is Clone Wars technically canon?
Yeah, it is, because Saul Guerrero is in it, and he was in...
That's Rebels, isn't it?
No, he's in Clone Wars.
Because if that's the case, then that changes some things. Now, I've not watched Clone Wars personally. I hear it's fucking rad, but I really want to. Because I know Maul gets robo legs in the end.
Yeah, he does. Maul comes back with his brother, and they have robo legs, and then he fights Obi-Wan. And in the most recent Rebels, there was a scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi was watching Luke in the distance, and then he did have a fight with Darth Maul as well.
Okay, I like that. I think that'd be interesting to sort of get his comeuppance. Like, maybe he comes back and just beats the fuck out. Like, similar to like Kong versus Godzilla. It just ends with like Obi-Wan just choke slamming, just fucking punched him in the face. Like, no lightsabers, just
Wow, that's
and then he becomes a centered old man.
Then he finds his inner peace.
Yeah, dude. Side note, by the way, I fell into this YouTube hole as I do about not voice acting, like accents in films.
Okay.
And I was sort of talking about, who does good accents, who doesn't, whatever. And they did one on Ewan McGregor and his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi, in terms of how he actually did a quite impressive job at mirroring how Alec Guinness talks. Because at the time, everyone gives him shit for being like, "Oh, hello there," because he's an Irishman, so his voice is kind of not that. Is he Scottish?
Scottish, I think.
I think he's Scottish. Yeah, so like his voice isn't English, right? But he went and he got the inflections of Alec Guinness for like a movie that no one gives any care about. That's a really small detail for Ewan McGregor to put that much effort into.
Well, he was one of the highlights of the prequels.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's lots of times where he's like in the behind the scenes things, and he's really excited about being in Star Wars. And he's watching. I remember watching one where he was sitting in the cinema watching Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original movies, and Alec Guinness talking. He's got some cracker lines where he's like, when they blow up the Alderaan, and he's like, 1 million voices have been silenced, and he's like, he just loved that so much, and not so much what he got to do. You know what I mean?
So I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, just the sort of like Ewan McGregor. If they do bring it back, Ewan McGregor would be perfect. Bring him back, because once again, not into the prequels. They happened. We brought Ewan McGregor back, but it's a new movie.
All right, so let's say there's new movies. What other new movies would you want to see? We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi now. We had Rogue One, and we've got the Han Solo movie, which apparently has just been announced. The title's been announced, and guess what it's called?
Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Well, man, you were smarty pants.
Well, is that really what it's called?
It's just called Han Solo, yeah.
That's
Star Wars
so
story.
kind of boring. But I like it.
Makes it, you know what you're getting.
There's none of that fucking dumb shit at the end, like Han Solo, the dark side of the moon or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
There's a Han Solo Electric Boogaloo, a Star Wars story. Like, okay, so I remember there was always talk about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And everyone wanted to see Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I agree. Both disagree. I like the mystery of Boba Fett. I think that's very important. Yoda is always one on that cool list as well. I think that's easy to do with CG and whatnot.
Yeah.
What about you? Before I get silly with it, who are you?
I want to see the fat guy who cried when the Rancor died. I think his name was Daleki or something. Or he's just like,
please search it.
I do.
The Rancor Trainer.
Yeah. The Wrangler. Fat Rancor guy.
That's literally what you're searching. Please give me something good.
Malakili.
I was funny because I was talking to a buddy at work today about these. She said, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Oh, we're recording the show, PopCorn." He's like, "Oh, cool. What's the topic?" I'm like, "Oh, we're talking about Star Wars movies and like the standalones, what they should be." And he's like, I pitched one of mine, and he's like, "Man, that character has a name." I'm like, "Yeah, man, everyone has a character. Every name has a character.
Every character has a name."
So, what would you want your story to be of
him?
Yeah, of him. Like, are we talking like a Marley and Me sort of story, as in it's him and his dog?
It started out as this tiny little puppy kind of Rancor.
Yeah, that's what
and he grew up with it, and he was like frolicking in the fields and things.
And he was like, "I don't want a Rancor. I can't be a dad."
Yeah, he's like, and then he was like, couldn't deal with the responsibility. He's like, "Get out of here! I don't want you anymore."
Harry the Hendersons,
yeah. And then the Rancor came back, and it's just a heartfelt movie. It's called Malakili and Me. There you go. Thank you. What's your Star Wars movie?
A little rat dude that sits with Jabba the Hutt. Yeah. What's his name? Something Crumb.
Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb. Fuck yeah, why not?
Why is he Crumb though? What do you think?
I don't know. Like, I think
I want to know the origin of his last name. That's be part of the movie. I want to see like an odd couple kind of movie with R2D2 and C3PO, and they just live together in a house.
Track,
yeah, like a sitcom.
One's the uptight one, one's the crazy one.
That would be awesome. And R2D's like a party animal. He's got all these like with the long green skin,
like 2.5 bots.
Like Jabba the Hutt strippers there, and he's like, "Oh no, you've made a mess again, R2."
So, R2, what are you doing? You can't party here.
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love, even if they just made 6 episodes.
Yeah,
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
It's a Netflix series.
But my problem is that by having these standalone movies and making them about characters we know, like Yoda, Han Solo, Boba Fett, it's like everybody's in this tiny pocket of the
I
universe.
agree. So, although for the life of me, I can't think of his name right now. Oh,
Luke Skywalker.
no. There are two. When you think of I'm thinking Old Republic.
Yes.
I'm thinking like that era. Like I've not read a lot of, what was additional canon.
Yeah, extended universe.
Extended universe is what I wanted. So I'm thinking Darth Plagueis would be fantastic. Yeah. Darth Plagueis is name dropped in Attack of the Clones. No, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
And so we know he exists, and I think he's an incredible character. I think he would be a very interesting and different story to focus. Like, granted, we focused on Darth Maul, who is a bad guy, but like we've never focused on solely a Sith character.
I want to see a Sith movie full stop and see everything about the Sith before they're being disruled.
Like, granted, I think it's true. I think it's very important to try to it's the same problem that Suicide Squad had. Right. How do you relate to bad people? Like, do we have to learn that their actions are justified? Like, how do they portray that what they are doing? Like, any good villain you relate to, you understand their motivations. So how, if with the Sith being so full of hate or whatever, sort of stuff, like, how do we relate to them as characters? Like, what story can they tell that isn't the stereotypical, I've moved to the dark side? Like, that's what they're trying to do now with Kylo Ren. Yeah. Well, that's how I interpret it anyway. My theory is that they're showing the struggle that actually comes with moving to the dark side. Yeah. Like, it's not a simple switch. Like, apparently it was for fucking Anakin, who was like, oh, I'm a Sith now. I'm going to kill a bunch of children.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So that's what I'd like to see that in terms of that, that's what I want to see out of the new trilogy anyway. But I think Darth Plagueis would be great, or Admiral Thrawn would be interesting as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that Rogue One proved that there were all new characters in Rogue One. Yeah. I mean, aside from like Jimmy Smits and Mon Mothma and Darth Vader, and the Emperor wasn't in it. Tarkin was in it, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, there was Krennic and there was Jyn Erso and like 15 characters that are all new that we've never seen before, and we got to know them easily. We got to feel for them. Then they died. Spoilers, And so you can make, as long as it looks like Star Wars, as long as you're flying spaceships and you're having wars in the stars, and you got maybe a lightsaber, weird animals, exotic planets. Just don't set it up out. I know who Yoda is. I know who Han Solo is. I know who Boba Fett is. I don't want to see them. I want to see like Yak Face and Squid Face dude, and
fly looking guy.
Yeah, like ones that just do nothing. That weird like sock puppet thing that comes up in the cantina. That's what I want to see.
Oh, and the dick thing from the garbage chute.
Yeah, the dick thing.
I have one for you.
Yes.
Kyle Katarn. Did you play any of the Dark Forces?
The Settlers of Catan?
No. Like, did you ever play like the Dark Forces and Jedi Academy games?
No.
Kyle Katarn's a cool character.
Well, it could be them. It could be Luke Skywalker's daughter. What's her name? Mara Jade?
Yeah.
Or is that his wife?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it's his wife, Mara Jade. But yeah, like, there's so many things. I want to see characters that we don't know, but I don't know how they'd sell that. Like, how would you do it? Like Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi style story. Malakili the movie, like people are gonna be like, "What the hell is that?"
See, I think that's why they're playing it safe and going with characters that we know.
But then you're gonna run out. Like, are you gonna call it? What are you gonna call it? You've set up your bad titling. Like, Rogue One.
This is the problem with, it's quote unquote problem with the main Star Wars stories, right? It's a Skywalker story, and it's entirely focused on the Skywalkers. So because of that, as with any good story, you have a core cast, and that's what you focus on for your time with those movies. So in order to step away from them, it's kind of,
but it feels like it's 7 degrees of step away. Like, get the fuck away. Change the decades.
Yeah.
Go hundreds of years in the past, 100 years in the future, or go complete. I want to see like a silent movie where it's all subtitled. And it's just like,
with aliens and stuff.
Yeah, just weird clicking and robot noises, and just do something really experimental and weird.
What I would like to see, I think the answer is it's world building. Like, this is the problem that all sort of spin-offs and all that sort of stuff is. They feel they have to somehow connect, or in terms of like, they're like, hey, Nod to the original. I mean, like, so with this, they could be like, this is how we establish the Jedi. This is how, like, tell that tale of the first Jedi. Do a tale explain, if they're not doing it with The Last Jedi, do it with the Greys. Show the Greys. I mean, like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, do things that build this world. Because, like, the Star Wars world, Star Wars universe is fucking huge.
Exactly.
There are years and years and years of stories and characters and all this really cool shit.
And galaxies far, far away. Get away from Tatooine. Never go there again. Like, Tatooine's here, way over there. Do something different.
Speaking of something different, let's change that conversation.
Okay.
So what we do, every week we reach out to our lovely PopCulturist community, facebook.com/groups/thepopculturist, as well as the popculturist.com/questions, where you can chuck in questions for the show like these lovely people have. My phone won't open. So here we got some questions. Jacob Garner asks, what is the best movie based from a book? Obviously with the inspiration from The Dark Tower coming out 2 weeks ago.
What's the best movie based on a book?
Yes.
A lot of good movies are based on books. Jaws by Peter Benchley.
It's a book. Jurassic Park
by Michael Crichton. The Godfather by Mario Puzo.
The Harry Potters.
Well, it seems different now. Like there were movies that were based on books, but nobody ever
no one ever knew.
Went crazy about it. But now I think what you might be referring to is like The Hunger Games or based on the best selling children's books.
Yeah. 50 Shades of
Twilight. So in that sense,
what the trend now is not like a single awesome book. Like they'll only adapt books that are a series of books.
Yeah. But even things like To Kill a Mockingbird, Gone with the Wind.
But I think he's talking in terms of the big franchises.
All right. So Hunger Games is one, but
I couldn't stand the Hunger Games. My wife was watching it, and I'm like, no thanks, and I left.
What? I've seen all the Hunger Games, but I was really disappointed with the way they split 1 and 2. The Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. Catching Fire was good. The middle one was good.
They did that just to do the Harry Potter split,
Yeah, but then the first one did nothing, and the third one was, or the fourth one was bad.
Well, yeah, the first, in terms of the Deathly Hallows, the first Deathly Hallows is them just kind of walking around.
Yeah, but it's building up. Like, you've earned that.
Yeah.
What else? Book movies. I like the Maze Runner, the first one. Second one, The Scorched Trials, was poo.
What I am looking forward to is Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. I'm
You're reading,
by
the way. Is that?
Yeah, I'm still going. I'm on chapter 2.
How's it you enjoy it?
There's 2 chapters. I don't know if there's more. There's a lot of reading in this.
Moving on forward, our co-host Josh Saunders asked the question, something that we didn't really dive into, and we probably should have. Will Jared Leto be in the new Solo Joker movie, and why will it be a terrible decision regardless? As in the Joker movie. Because we mentioned it, we didn't really dive into it. Oh, we did a little bit.
Will Jared Leto be in it? Probably not.
No. I think that'd be pulling the cord on that one.
Nah, I don't know, because if you make him young, like, the whole thing about what made the Heath Ledger one so cool is that he's fully formed when he turns up. He's not his origin. You don't know who he is. It doesn't matter who he is. This is who he is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not who he is that defines him.
No, he's like pure
actions.
chaos.
He
just does things for no reason. That's what it's good. He says, he just says that. It's like I'm a dog chasing a car and I don't know what's going to happen when I get it,
And Lee adds to that, is the idea of a Joker origin story not an oxymoron in itself? If it's considered canon, won't it ruin the last 30 years of comic history? Well, they did. Didn't they recently answer who the Joker was?
Well, they had in the Batman 1989 one, they had the Jack Napier.
Jack Napier, that's right. No, Joe Chill killed his parents.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's canon. Especially with all these ones, you could have. There's probably going to be 15 different Joker movies, like different versions of the Joker in Batman or Superman, whatever, or Wonder Woman, whatever. Like, nothing matters anymore. When it was the definitive version, like this DCEU is supposed to be the definitive version, like the same with the MCU, like they vary a lot, but these are the versions that people know best.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're going to redo the Joker 3 times already and a 4th time, Do you think it's a bit of Spider-Man-itis?
Who do you think would be a good Joker actor?
I don't know. Like,
I don't have an answer. I don't. That's why I asked the question.
well, that's why Heath Ledger was so good, because you're like, Heath Ledger, you serious? And then you see him, and you're like, it doesn't even look like Heath Ledger. It doesn't even sound like Heath Ledger. It doesn't even move like Heath Ledger. I don't know. I just wouldn't do it.
What else we got here? So we had mostly a lot of questions about the Joker film. Buddy Watson asks, who is your favorite director and what about their style or catalogue? What do you love about their style or catalogue?
Who was the question, sorry?
That was from Buddy Watson.
What was the question?
Who is your favorite director and what do you love about their style or catalogue?
Ooh. Well, let's hear yours. I know what it is.
No, you go first because mine's easy.
Mine's Kevin Smith.
Fuck.
Joking. I don't know. So many different directors have so many good things. I love James Cameron. I love his strong female lead actresses. His movies are fast-paced and beautifully shot and got interesting ideas like Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, True Lies, which is a remake, Titanic, Avatar even. He's just got so many interesting ideas and they're so accessible and universal stories. Steven Spielberg, of course, makes great kind of that wonderment and awe, and E.T. and Jurassic Park, and like he does a good combination of the real world with the fantastical, so it never feels like it's completely fake. It's got that like kind of grounded level to it. I don't know, it goes around in circles. People love Martin Scorsese movies, but I'm not really into the kind of gangster things, but I can appreciate the movies. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Christopher Nolan, Peter Jackson.
Just listing names now.
Robert Zemeckis.
Look, mine's an easy answer. Mine's Kevin Smith.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. The writer-director of Clerks, Chasing Amy, Jane Silent Bob, like all these things I love. Jane Silent Bob's sitting right behind you over there. I have posters all down my hallway of my house. What I love about Kevin Smith and his style is it's relatable to me. The way they talk, what they talk about, the issues that they discuss. I find them very, very personal. I've all sort of watched them at certain parts, just coincidentally, certain parts in my life that are really relatable. An example is I discovered Clerks 2 when I was in my late years of high school. And the big plot point of that story is that Dante is moving away. And that's the whole movie is sort of focused around the idea of these two people that have been friends for 1,000 years is just slowly separating away.
Well, you're thinking of Superbad.
Oh, I love Superbad as well. Fuck, I love Superbad. 10 years? It was 20 years. 10 years. It was 10 years another week or so.
Wow, there you go.
Great movie. Because with Dante and Randall staying in the same garbage. For me, that was me and my buddy.
What's your favourite Kevin Smith movie?
It's a tough line, but it probably is Clerks too. The one that I really love the most. It's really tough because I remember when I saw Jane Silent Bob the first time. I was like 9 years old. It was on VHS, and I loved it because it was full of sweats.
Strikes Back one.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then again, it's like what I love about the rawness between these, the bromanciness of Clerks 2 I really love, and it's just full of all the same gross, dirty humor. And then what I love about Chasing Amy as an example is Chasing Amy is so brutally honest and emotional, and like that spiel that Ben Affleck throws at Jory Lauren Adams in the car, and that's a spiel that you've wanted to say 1,000 times to people, and it's perfectly in words. And like it's this great sort of story about finding love, finding someone that loves you back, and then dealing with shortcomings with yourself in terms of the relationship, and like your own self-conscious, because the whole idea of I've blanked out on Joy Lauren Adams' character. It's not Alyssa. So once Alyssa and Holden get together, it's like the story changes from a love story to this sort of I'm really self-conscious because you're a lot more sexually experienced than I am. So it's that then infects relationship and changes it. I think it's a really cool dynamic, and it's like you can watching those movies, you know that's Kevin Smith at that time. But granted, like I love Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and he'll pretty much admit that like that was me remaking Clerks, with Seth Rogen, because it is. But it's
What's your least favorite Kevin Smith movie? Do you love him blindly, or can you admit when you don't like something? You saw Yoga Hoses, right?
I did see Yoga Hoses. Yoga Hoses was weird, but I'd probably might put it there as my least favorite. Now, unlike Tusk,
Yes.
which I love Tusk, because Tusk is just littered with Smodco, like little things, right? Just all the littlest things are in there are fantastic, and Tusk is batshit insane, but it's really good. Yes, it probably would have to be Yoga Hose only because I didn't.
Yeah.
like
What about
the
Jersey
team.
Girl?
I like Jersey Girl. I think Jersey Girl's.
like
I think
Jersey
Jersey Girl's
Girl
actually
too.
kind of good.
Fresh Prince. I love it. Red State. Red State is incredible.
Red State is fantastic.
Not a Kevin Smith movie per se.
I lent that Blu-ray to someone and I never got it back, so I'm like, I have to rebuy
I
it.
love Red State. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
Another
it's so good.
Yeah. See, another example is Tarantino. I love Tarantino movies. Once again, I think the thing that I love the most is dialogue, especially real dialogue. Like, I think that's such a pivotal part to making a movie real. And, but with Tarantino, he has that real dialogue in it. They talk like people. But the genius of Tarantino is what seems like monotonous dialogue is actually incredibly well written. It actually 100% pushes it in, like it pushes this plot forward. Unlike an example is like, what's it, The Room, right? Where they are monotonous conversations. Like those conversations they have don't benefit the plot. Where like the conversation at the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, and they're all sort of talking about each other.
Like a virgin.
They're like the virgin, that sort of stuff. And like one of the key examples, you'll learn a lot about a character. You learn that Mr. Pink, is Mr. Pink, who
That's Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, he's quick to turn on someone. Like there was like, I'm not Steve Buscemi. Who was not Eli Roth? Who's the guy that played the
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. So Tim Roth, he's a rat. In the story, he is a rat, and they tell you that literally in the first scene.
If you're paying attention.
If you're paying attention, because he's like, who didn't tip? He didn't. Like, he dobs him in a fucking heartbeat. You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible. And it's what seemed like a monotonous conversation about tipping and why tipping is dumb. Tells you a lot about each one of those characters in a matter of 10 minutes. Quentin Tarantino is fantastic. And then it gets dumb, crazy, violent, and it's awesome.
And that is Tarantino.
Other directors I really love. Probably, obviously Spielberg and that sort of stuff. But I think I've been ranting about those guys for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my answer.
All right, those are our questions.
That's it.
Beautiful. All right, so now to this week's releases. So coming up this week is American Made.
I see this trailer in front of so many YouTube videos.
Yes.
It's like Tom Cruise, and I see him like landing a plane on a street.
Yeah.
And like covered in like cocaine, I guess.
Here's the plot. A pilot lands work for the CIA as a drug runner in the South during the 1980s.
Sounds batshit insane.
It looks pretty funny. Like
I'm
it came
kinda
out of
intrigued.
nowhere.
Yeah,
like,
it really has.
I didn't even know it was being made. There's a trailer for it. It's got Jesse Plemons in it from Breaking Bad.
Hey.
Tom Cruise is in it, of course. Donald Gleason from About Time and Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Outside of like Tom Cruise, there's not a lot of names in it, really.
Hey, look, this guy's called Caleb Landry Jones, and I think Jesse Plemons' name was Landry in Friday Night Lights. So maybe they hired him because of that.
Maybe.
You got the name.
It interests me, like the amount of times I've seen that. See, this is the thing. I need to go to the movies more, and this,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Period.
the other one coming out this weekend.
It is not coming out this weekend. I know the one. What's next? But you can read it out, and I can tell you it's not that one.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day 3D.
That's in the US. In the Australias, it comes out September 7.
No, it comes out this weekend.
Hell no.
No, there's tickets this weekend. I've
Maybe there's advanced screening, but
no, I think it's one weekend. But it's not everywhere. It's only in certain places. Geelong Village Cinemas.
I'll have to check that.
Google it. I'll keep talking.
I don't need to prove you wrong that bad.
But I want to know. I don't want to miss out on it. So, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Josh and I were discussing this before.
Yes.
Before we recorded about Terminator.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, why? And he's like, why? I'm like, well, they did it with Star Wars, the first one.
Yes.
And I was really cool with that.
Yes.
And they're like, we're gonna do one. We're gonna redo all of them. I'm like, cool. When are you gonna do them? One a year. That's a bad decision. And And then they never did it again.
Well, they did one. I went and saw episode 1 in 3D.
Me too. I thought it was fantastic.
I don't know why I
really
did it.
Jurassic Park in 3D.
I missed
Fantastic.
that. I missed it, and I'm devastated. But yeah, Terminator 2 in 3D. I wonder. I don't want to look it up, but I want to know what version it is. Whether it's the director's cut, which has the extra scenes where they take the chip out of his head, or whether it's just the normal theatrical cut. I'd like to see the director's cut that has like Kyle Reese in it at the start and a few little extra shots of T-1000 doing some cool stuff.
No, it's literally this weekend. I take that back.
Yes. So it's playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe I'll see it Saturday before our thing.
Nice.
I don't want to miss out though.
While we're recording for the place.
But yeah, James Cameron, of course, he's a big 3D pusher.
That'd be the only reason.
The whole reason.
But it just seems so out of place. As in, like, why now? 3D is dead.
I don't even think it's like the anniversary, because that was 1991, I'm pretty sure, and it's not the year that would be 20 years from now.
Not even 25 years.
2011.
25 years would have been last year.
Did I get that right? I did, 2011. Yeah, but I'm going to go see it. Terminator 2. I'm excited. You going to go see it?
No.
It's so good. I saw it at the Astor.
With my eyesight, it's really hard to do, because I have pointless fact, I have astigmatism. So
he wears glasses.
So my issue with my eyes is they have difficulty focusing. So like at nighttime, like even if it's just dim, there's not enough light for my eyes to focus.
Is that why you drive all over the road all the time?
Oh, 100%. So trying to put the 3D glasses on, like the depth 3D, I'm sort of okay with, because I just focus on the front part.
Yeah.
But anything coming out, like, no.
Oh, really?
And plus trying to balance shit on front of glasses.
What's the last 3D movie you actually saw in cinemas?
Maybe in a Marvel movie. Like, I actively avoid them now at all costs.
Well, they're not really around anymore, but it's good.
For a reason, because it's garbage.
What was the last 3D movie I saw? It was probably because the only session you could go to was a 3D one. Might have been Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know. But what's the last 3D movie that you saw? Was it Guardians of the Galaxy? Was it some bullshit garbage you couldn't see? Let us know in the comments below.
The movie's always dark. It's darker than it should be because of stupid glasses.
That's true. And I got to wear them on top of glasses, and they're uncomfortable, and you can see the light coming in the sides.
Hate them. Goddamn hate them.
But let us know if you hate glasses.
But if you love us, you can watch. You can reserve your seat every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and all podcast services. If you want to get the premium seats, head over to facebook.com/group/PopCulturists, and you can have a chat with us there. You can also jump onto the Discord. The link will be at the Facebook group. If you want the VIP seats, though, you can head over to patreon.com/thepopculturists. You might find a tier there that interests you.
And that, folks, is a wrap.
Probably should say our names first. I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Dylan Bowden, but it's still a wrap.
And credits. Yeah, it's now it's a fuck.